while we're waiting for these last stragglers to join, I actually popped in to an ACG conference on deal sourcing yesterday. And actually be curious if anybody on the call is part of the ACG. I found it to be a lot more networking than value. Well, I guess it doesn't make sense. Just kind of backslapping as opposed to value. But this was a really, really good one. So it's made me rethink my membership of ACG, where they had just a State of the Union for everything M&A, buying, selling businesses, and in particular what that means for deal origination, and how everything has transitioned to the type of stuff that we're talking about every week here with the social selling lunch and learn. And I think you really do have an entire industry that's just trying to figure out, not just with deal origination and how to go about the process of proprietary deal flow in this type of environment, when you can't really get the sit down at the top of the funnel, right? So how to effectively do what we're talking about on a weekly basis, in my mind, and you make sure that your prospects are aware of who you are, make sure that you've nailed down your targeting, and that you're having those conversations at the top of the funnel, at the mid level of the funnel, so that you can have the face-to-face, the sit down, the in-person management meeting or the diligence meeting, really after you've gone through a whole lot of stuff that pre-COVID you probably wouldn't have done online. And so the whole industry has really accommodated to these Zoom webinars, and it's just, you can see everybody is trying to learn how to transition this top of the funnel communication and things like diligence that have just really gone completely online since COVID, how people are trying to do that effectively. And so maybe this just becomes increasingly relevant. That's my take. I don't think this is, once you've opened the can of worms there, it's hard to close it. I think people have gotten really good at social selling, or analyzing deals, going through diligence online, having those initial meetings with the deal team or the seller or the intermediary online. If you're doing that effectively, it's much more scalable. So I don't see that as something that's ever going to go back to the way things were pre-COVID. But that is my only ramble for the day. So let me hop in here, because I think we've got everybody more or less. So moving on, social selling lunch and learn. We have a few new people here. I see probably about 75% returns, which is great, and not surprising, because again, we have not been advertising this. The 30-minute agenda for today, I'll just recap the social selling intro for the new attendees, and then we're going to just do a recap of what we went through last week, right? So we're going to look at, if you haven't seen the post from last week, go back, go to BN.Digital, and under the header, you'll see resources, and then in the drop down, you'll see training. That's where we're posting all of the lunch and learns. Last week's lunch and learn covered a lot of what we're going to be running through today. We're also going to briefly touch on social selling on BizNexus. This is something I want to kind of put in there every week, because we're getting a lot of questions, and I do run BizNexus. I've built BizNexus. LinkedIn is great, but we have a lot of opportunities on BizNexus for doing exactly what we're doing. So I want to make sure that as we build these things out and release these, you guys are able to take advantage of this. Who am I? Why should you care? Basically, I've just been in deal origination for the duration of my career. There's been a lot of transition over 20 years in deal origination, and going from banging out 200 cold calls in a day to where we are now with these lunch and learns and all things social selling. But I've definitely been deeply involved with that through the duration of my career. Social selling, what is it? It's basically just using everything that is available with internet, with social, with data, to make sure that you are building a highly valuable ecosystem, online Rolodex of your primary prospects and the referral prospects who can deliver those primary prospects to you on an ongoing basis. So business brokers, for example, that's really a prospect of ours with our agency, who we do a lot of work with. We're not exclusive to business brokers, but we are exclusive to business acquisition and sale, so related professions. So the business broker target we are really working to help place business brokers with not only business owners, but all of the referral sources in their area who can ultimately count for even more than whatever process you have in place for proprietary deal generation, right? So if you have a great email campaign, if you have a great social selling campaign that's targeting business owners, well, if you're doing that really well for your referral network, over time that snowballs, and over time, that's how you can kind of put some of this on autopilot, and you have to stay up with these referral prospects. But it's something that is often missed with inbound sales programs, and it's something that is highly valuable. So not to be overlooked. And the goal of everything that we ever talk about here in these meetings is to get that real world relationship when the time is right, right? Familiarize your prospect with who you are, what you do, put your bona fides up online, make sure you've got social proof, so that when the time comes for your prospect to buy into whatever it is that you're selling, they're already familiar with you. Again, going back to my introductory comments about deal origination moving online and this top of the funnel communication moving online because of a pandemic, this existed pre-COVID, and it's just become much more relevant in a COVID world. And regardless of what happens with the vaccine going forward, I think a lot of this stuff that people have figured out, you don't have to send a sales rep to Austin, Texas to meet with an anchor prospect and then hang out for the week to ask that anchor prospect for, are there any other people who I should be speaking with? And then you try to meet with these, and companies were spending thousands of dollars on this type of process. Now they figured out, hey, a little bit of social selling goes a long way if you're effective with it. So I don't see this going anywhere. You can always access our services, our product. BizNexus is the platform, buying, selling businesses, connecting intermediaries and intermediary vetted deals to buyers and sellers. BN.Digital, that's the agency. We focus exclusively on professionals who work in this world of business acquisition and sale. That's just because we know it. We know it intimately, so we don't stray outside of that. 5 stages of social selling. Go back, watch the videos. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but all of these stages work together, right? You are constantly brushing up your profiles, your online brand, to make sure it meets the pain points of your target prospect. You're constantly iterating on your targeting to make sure that it's just laser focused and you're getting the right prospects in your online ecosystem. Building the right campaigns. Once you've got those, you'll have to update them, but you want to constantly monitor conversion rates so that you know that your campaigns are effective. Nurturing the prospects who can get into your ecosystem so that they're getting familiar with who you are, what you do, your brand, so that when they think about buying your product, your service, they're going to know a whole lot about you, and they're going to pick up the phone, and you're going to pick up the phone to answer a call, not to put out a cold call. And then capturing your prospect in their moment of need, making sure that they will come off of LinkedIn, off of Facebook, off of Twitter, off of your newsletter, into a real world engagement. And a real world engagement in today's world can be that Zoom meeting, right? It can be the face-to-face Zoom meeting. It can be a phone call. It doesn't have to be the sit down and handshake like it was 6 months ago. So today we are going to be playing around in these 2 phases: optimize and capture. I'll start off with capture just by recapping what we did last week. And then for optimize, we'll just go through what you need to do to cover your basis on BizNexus to actually get matched with your prospects. So last week's company post, for those who weren't here, I went through a post. We did some updates on the BizNexus platform, and I wanted to post those new updates, the features, to BizNexus's target, and that's the buyer universe. So I wanted to get that post out there to the buyer universe, who I've been doing social selling in that world for a long time now. So I have a great online ecosystem of these buyers. So I wanted to put this out there in front of them. So what I did was we did a company post through BizNexus, and then I shared the BizNexus post through my personal profile, and then I also put that company post into a target group on LinkedIn, targeted pool of my prospects. So let's go through and see what happened here. Company posts, as we mentioned last week, the analytics, depending on how engaged you are with your company post, your personal profile is going to be much more valuable than your company as it stands today, right? LinkedIn is working to change this. They have things like LinkedIn Live. They're trying to get more engagement on the company page. But if you're pursuing a social selling program, you should be primarily concerned with your personal profile, especially if you're running, a boutique shop, if you're, a solo entrepreneur, if you're a business broker, you're building your personal brand, and your company will be intertwined with that. But in terms of the real value, the majority of social selling in its organic form, not paid, but everything that we teach here is going to come through your individual profile. So you can see that over a week, this thing got 1,000 views. That's not great, right? But it's a company page, so it doesn't shock me, right? I put in the post, did the process. I uploaded the video organically, and I quite frankly never looked back. I never touched this. But what I did do was I shared that with my personal profile. So let's go take a look at what happened there. So when I shared the post, shared the company post in my personal profile, and I did all the tactics that we go through on a weekly basis here, right? I put in the relevant hashtags and, a key group of fans who I know are familiar with BizNexus, who like BizNexus, put that in there so that hopefully I can get some engagement within, that first hour, or within that first 5 minutes of posting it, because the algorithm will recognize that and push it out to more eyeballs if you can get that. And I got, so almost 4,000 views. That's not bad, right? 7 comments, 27 engagements. But this is what I really care about is the views, right? And if you're pursuing a disciplined social selling program, those eyeballs should count. These eyeballs should be your prospects, right? So in my world is business brokers, my world is business buyers. Got a lot of business brokers here who saw that post. And then a lot of executive directors who I know are buyers. You have founders, strategists, people who are interested in buying because of some proprietary targeting that we've done internally for our processes, right? So that's great. If I can do a post like this and a week later have almost 4,000 eyeballs on a very clear, value-focused post that articulates a paid subscription to my product, that's awesome. So that I'll count as a win. Company post, let's say, let's call that a tie. Personal post, let's call it a win. Now let's go to the targeted post. So I'm just going to jump to the end here. This one is not going to be impressive. It's a fail, right? So what I did was I posted my company post in a target group on LinkedIn. I did not add anybody in the group except for the person who runs the group, just to mention him because he gave me permission to do this. William Bruce, if you're out there watching this or in the audience now, thank you for giving us permission to post in your group. The problem isn't William Bruce's group, it's LinkedIn groups, right? So it's tough to find a LinkedIn group that has a lot of engagement, right? So here we got a quick like. I don't have the analytics because it's not my group, but I'm sure we got some good eyeballs. I know that whatever eyeballs I got are all business brokers, right? And business brokers is one of our targets. So the only reason I'm posting this, is to show you on the Lunch and Learn how to do the process, but it's also because it's a pool full of my target prospect, right? So maybe I could have posted this in a buy a business group where I know everyone there is interested in buying a business. It's a strategy that works if you're staying engaged with these groups, right? And again, if you go to BizNexus and you log in, whether you're a broker, a provider, or a buyer, you're going to have some sort of page like this where we have target groups for you to get into and engage with. But you have to do this on a regular basis for visibility, right? If you want to get that engagement within a group, it's hard to really get good engagement within a LinkedIn group. So we recommend for every post that you do on LinkedIn, try to do 10 likes or comments in strategic pools with strategic prospects on LinkedIn for every one post that you do. The algorithm is going to recognize that, just like the algorithm is going to recognize whether you're actually replying to the messages you get and staying engaged, etc. But that is a strategy. Now, what could I have done better with that post? Not so much. I could have spent a lot of time on it, but it's not high ROI for me, because I know that personal post is going to really deliver what I want. It's the eyeballs with the prospects that I've been generating on a regular basis. That's where you start to really get the engagement. And if I wanted to really, I guess if this was a post that I really wanted to put out there, I could use another platform, right? Like the IBBA has a really great business broker focused group on Facebook. The engagement is great, and that's because the group functionality on Facebook is just a lot better than LinkedIn's at this moment, July 15th, 2020, in my opinion. LinkedIn is changing that again with LinkedIn Live and everything that's happened with the pandemic. We're going to see these company pages become more valuable. We're going to see these groups become more valuable. So just fingers crossed, let's wait and see. But you can take a post and you can put it in another platform, right? So if I had put that in the IBBA platform, I know I would have gotten a lot of engagement. I just personally hate it when people are doing marketing posts in that particular group. I don't think it's right. It's just not my style, so I don't do it. But it would have been effective, maybe in the short term, but in the long term, I think it hurts my brand. It hurts BizNexus' brand, so we don't do that. We could have used Slack, right? We have a number of brokers now actually religiously doing the Slack channel. It's great. Like, maybe it's a place to start, and you just get into the rhythm of asking people to like your post when you post it. Whatever it takes to just get into the rhythm of posting, of adding your inner circle tribe to like your stuff, you like their stuff. That's how you're going to get that initial bump, that initial visibility, so that if you're building your network in the right way, those valuable eyeballs will see your posts. Otherwise, it's never going to see the light of day, whether you're talking about an article or a post, anything, right? So I know I'm repeating myself here, but just drilling it in. We've seen a lot of people doing this well, and actually, 118. Let's just briefly take a look at. So Don Emmett, I know you're on the call, or actually I don't know if you're on the call, but hopefully you'll see this video after the fact. Don's been posting a ton. I am seeing him pop up all the time. His posts, this is great. See, so he's featured one of these interviews from the trenches with BizNexus. He has the interview, he has the video. Save that for another lunch and learn. But he's sticking to the process here. And with these posts, every time he posts, he's getting, all right, so this is just today, 3 comments, 4 likes. He's getting a lot of eyeballs, he's getting visibility. So, 15 reactions, 1 comment. Again, it's the eyeballs. Stuart Guthrie, I'll call you out. I've seen you really improving this week, or I've just seen, it's constantly at the top of my feed. He is posting on a regular basis, but he's using the appropriate hashtags, and he's adding his inner circle tribe, right? He's got a few people there. He's got the hashtags. 1 love, 1 comment, right? And then he's got 5 engagements, 3 comments. And so again, on LinkedIn, it's not all about likes and clicks. We're not on Instagram looking for people to like a picture of our baby. It's about the eyeballs. It's about the eyeballs being valuable, and it's about the eyeballs getting on your content. That's it. So you make sure you have the right eyeballs in your network. You make sure that you have the right content being shown to those eyeballs on a regular basis to stay top of mind. So it's a little digression there, but I think relevant. So this week, what we're going to do, I know I promised you guys I was going to show you how to boost a company post. I don't think that's a great topic for lunch and learn to actually just walk through, because I think it's boring. But we're going to be doing this week with BizNexus. We just rolled out some premium buyer subscriptions. And so we're going to do a post on our company page, and we're going to boost that. And I'm going to put a video together. I'll just record the whole process, and I'll put that up on the BN.Digital site, right? So again, if you go to BN.Digital, www.bn.digital, and go to resources and then training, you're going to see all of these videos. So I will do that this week. We'll get it up there. And then next week, maybe we can just recap the highlights, but I'll be doing the post, signing into Campaign Manager, choosing my objective, my audience, ad format, setting a bid and budget, setting it live. And then we can also look at the results next week, see how well that works if you have some ad spend and why you want to do it. Again, this is where you find the video, BN.Digital, resources training. Social selling on BizNexus, we're at 120. So I'm gonna put a pin in this and we'll come back to it. But there is a lot here that we've been rolling out and that overlaps really nicely with everything that we're talking about with LinkedIn and other platforms. So I am going to come back to this. One thing that I will ask you guys to do before we hop out, what I would like to do is get LinkedIn live, right? And LinkedIn's tricky about who gets approved, who doesn't, but we're going to take a shot for our company page. And right now in the chat, let's see. The internet's kind of acting up here. If you guys can see this link. That's our company page. If you wouldn't mind following it, would appreciate it. If we get to LinkedIn Live, we can start doing these things just on LinkedIn. We can make them, much more frequent, much more targeted. It only makes sense that we'd have this on LinkedIn. So we need to get to 1,000 followers of our company to be able to apply and do that. So if you wouldn't mind, just like the link, pass it on, help us get there so that we can continue to do this and actually hopefully make an impact in this new world that we're in. So that's it. That's my last request, my last comment, last point of lunch and learn. So if you guys have any questions, anything, just let me know. Now's the time. Otherwise, we'll close it out and move on with our day. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to close it out. Again, please, if you can, just share that link, the company page. Help us get there so we can all help you. I think we're all helping each other with this. That's why I think it's really made these things enjoyable. We love the feedback. When you get the questionnaire at the end of Lunch and Learn, please do fill that out. But the big request for today is to follow our LinkedIn company page and maybe post that, share it, try to get us to LinkedIn Live. Would really love to do that. So thanks, guys, and see you next week.